Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here speaking to you today. It's also a pleasure. I've never shared a stage with a car before. This is fantastic. I'm assuming every speaker gets one to take home. Is that how it works? Maybe not. So look, I apologize from the start. I'm feeling a little bit sorry of myself today. I've been ill for a couple of days, but also it was Valentine's in the UK yesterday. Valentine's in the UK means we give our loved ones presents, and I said to my wife, look, I'm sorry, I've been a bit ill. I haven't sorted this out. And she said, don't worry, we'll do Valentine's Day another day. I arrived in my hotel this morning, 1 a.m., and she's packed a little present in my bag. And so I feel really bad. And also I thought, but it's okay, I didn't have time. Then I realized I worked for a retailer that prides itself in same-day delivery. I could have done this, but I haven't. But we'll move on. So it's a pleasure to be here. If we move the slides, perfect. Pleasure to be here. So the global e-commerce business is growing extremely fast. And that is primarily driven by the combination of marketplaces and brands. It's a wonderful coming together of marketplaces who create their own brand themselves. They create a price perception, they create a user interface, they create a payment solution, they create a sort of a delivery experience that customers love, and they marry that with fantastic products. This is what's caused this global growth in e-commerce. And some people said early on in the days of e-commerce, well, surely search engines provide that sort of marketplace. You can search for anything you want online, you can find it. But now we see that Amazon's growth has been such that in the UK, 43% of all consumers start their journey from buying on Amazon versus all of the other possible search engines. Amazon's the place to go to find something you want to buy. So the Estonian e-commerce, as we heard, is also growing. I mean, it's growing at a similar rate to the global e-commerce business, which is wonderful. And it's supported by great marketplaces and supported by great brands that you're providing. It's a wonderful place to be operating right now, which is why I'm pleased to be here to try and tell you about how you can grow your business with Amazon. I want to tell you a bit around how Amazon did what it's doing today, how it became what it is today. Because we didn't start as a marketplace that combined lots of places, lots of retailers. We were a reseller. We were a reseller of books, fundamentally. That's how we started, way back in 2009. And then we added tons of other categories as we went through. And then we added the real marketplace, a place where retailers can come and buy from Amazon. And then, well, actually, we added a marketplace first of all, got it totally wrong. It was an auction site that didn't work. And then we tried again and added a place where retailers can buy stuff, but it was a separate website to the reseller websites. Didn't work either. And then we combined within one buy box the reseller business of Amazon and the retailer business, the marketplace business of sellers. That really worked, and that took off. And then we added Prime. We added Prime because it created customers who were really engaged in purchasing from Amazon. The Prime membership scheme has customers paying money to come and buy from Amazon. It's like if you were a shopping mall, you'd pay a membership fee to get through the doors. It's an incredible scheme. These Prime members, these Prime customers, buy more and more. There's more and more of them. They're buying more and more, and they repeat buy. They're wonderful customers. And then we added, after that, fulfillment by Amazon. So this is one of the key problems of e-commerce today. Even if you can get your product in front of the customer, you can't just give it to them. You have to ship it to them. One of the key problems. And we realized we had a reseller fulfillment network that was pretty good. We'd started with books, we grew, we invested, we got bigger and better and better. And we thought, well, why not give that service to other retailers, to sellers? So we did. Fulfillment by Amazon was born. And that fueled even more of a growth in our business. It was a fulfillment service that we passed savings on to the seller from things like scale, from things like the ability to consolidate shipments, from things like the ability to real-time pick which shipment method we should use, depending on the customer. It could be different within an instant before for the same parcel, same customer. This was wonderful. And then we ended up with a business that grew like this. 2016, 136, I should probably look over here, billion US dollars. And that size business growing at 27%, I think we're pretty pleased. Well, actually, I'm pretty pleased. My bosses want it to be faster and more. One of the reasons why I'm here. So this is really good. But the interesting thing about this graph you start to see a little shift up. And if I had 2017 on here, you'd see an even bigger shift up. And that is globalization. That's when we started saying, we've solved for domestically, now we want to think about cross-border. So I was interested in the statistics mentioned earlier on. Only 10% of sellers sell cross-border. We're trying to change that. We want every seller to sell cross-border. These are some stats. I think the most interesting one on this graph is the top one. In 2015, I think this is, there was 304 million worldwide active customer accounts, and that's growing even further. Accessing those is brilliant for your business. So we had already a pretty good domestic fulfillment network. If you're in the UK, you could use the UK fulfillment network, the UK marketplace to sell your products. We had this same thing across, this graph says 11, it's a few more now. Australia, we launched very recently. I think Fulfillment by Amazon is due to go live in Australia this week, I think. So we're adding new countries all the time. So we had this and we thought, well, this isn't really what we want to do. We want to enable sellers to do this. People can find and discover anything they want to buy online. So this means any customer can find any product in any location at any time. A China seller who's invented a brand new product that's wonderful can sell on all of our marketplaces immediately. A Baltic seller who has a brand that's amazing, that's created real value from the customer, can just show us what they have in terms of their products and their brand. We will ship it to every country immediately. We'll put it in front of the customer before the customer even knows they want it, so it's there ready for them within a day. That's our vision. Now, I'm sorry to say, we're not quite there yet. Right now, it's a little bit tricky in places to do this. Actually, it's very hard in places. So we've tried our hardest to simplify this for sellers. We've created programs that aren't the pan-world vision that we have in the end, that are a little bit smaller, but still can help you globalize your business. And we've added people to the mix. We've taken technology like sponsored products, technology like translations, technology like lending services, technology like payment services, and we've said we need some help. So I'm not saying, Lizzie and Becca, you can solve everything here today, but these guys are here to help you today to understand how you can grow your business with Amazon. Please look out for them. I want to very quickly now run through just a few things that I think you can do today that will help you to grow your business going forward. I mentioned at the beginning, one of the reasons why we've been successful is Fulfillment by Amazon. Passing on that world-class fulfillment service to other retailers and letting them take advantage of it at a reasonable price. This is simply how it works. It's super simple. Send your inventory to Amazon. We'll put your product in one of our fulfillment centers. We'll then give your product on our listing pages a Prime badge, which allows it to be accessible by Prime customers, those super engaged customers I spoke about earlier. We'll then pick, pack, and ship your product to customers, it says here in the UK, if that's where your product is in the UK, but also EU-wide. By EU-wide, I don't mean just where we have marketplaces. I mean all 28 member states of the EU. And then we'll provide world-class customer services. So super simple. We take the stress away from fulfilling to your customer, and particularly if English is not your first language, the stress of customer service is away also. So that is really simple. And when we surveyed some sellers, back in 2014, 85% of all these sellers said, I've reported an increase in sales on Amazon. The average increase they quoted was 30%. Now I know, because I've seen the numbers, because I work for Fulfillment by Amazon, that it's a bit more than that. So it's a good way of making sure you can really access those fully engaged customers on Amazon. But then, again, globalization is where we want to be, making more products available to more countries at a greater speed. So we looked at the EU, and we said a little while ago, well, actually, I didn't say, our bosses said, if I look at the US and I look at the EU, the uptake of the Prime fulfillment service, i.e. FBA, is much smaller in the EU than it is in the US. Why is that? And we said the very simple reason why that is because fulfillment by Amazon in the EU is single country. It's expensive to go cross-border because once you start the clock on a customer order, you use prime shipment methods all the way. The customer said, I want the item, and we go, right, we'll ship it to you as quick as we can. So we go and we pick it as quick as we can, we put it on the most expensive shipment, we fly it over to their address, we put it on the fastest first-class service to the customer, and it's expensive. And then we said, well, the way we can solve this is we should move the inventory, your stock, closer to the customer before they order. So we invented something called Pan-EU FBA. And the reason was, if you look at just one country, you get 30.9 in Germany, 29.2 in the UK, unique customer visits. If you look at them all, that's more like 100 million unique customer visits. So enabling your products to be seen by 3 times as many customers if you're UK, 10 times as many if you're in Italy, is a good thing. Or I get 100 times or infinity times as many if you've not sold in the EU at all, is a good thing. So we invented this solution. And already we have a couple of sellers, at least, I've been speaking to the team here, who use this service. And they're big sellers. They're 5-figure per week sellers in terms of sales who use this service. And this is how it works. It's really straightforward. You have a product that you've made available in 5 countries. You've listed it in 5 countries in the EU. The seller sends, well, you would send, the retailer sends your stock to Fulfillment by Amazon. It arrives in one fulfillment center. Pick your EU home marketplace. The UK is generally the first port of call for these. We would then, what we call transship, which means what I said earlier, push it closer to the customer before it arrives, before the customer orders. And then we're really close. We can do it in a day, same day, 1 day, at worst 2 days. And that means the more people who look at your product will eventually buy it, because we know that speed matters. These customers, while they're engaged, they pay money to shop on Amazon, they're also quite fussy. They like to have their products really quickly. So we like to give them that opportunity. Here's a couple of people who have taken advantage of this. So Ray here, he runs a sports company. He has developed his business entirely with Amazon. His own brand, 8,000 products he now sells, and he turns over 100 million in a year. Charles developed a clothing company. He didn't use Amazon when he started. He went on Amazon and his sales almost quadrupled in 3 years by using Amazon. So sellers really can be helped by using Amazon. But it's not all straightforward. I told you the vision of Pan World is something we're looking to do. We're not quite there yet. There's some barriers. There's some things that make it tricky to sell cross-border. We're trying to solve those, but they're still tricky things. The most important one for you to think about today is VAT. VAT is super important. The way the VAT works is if you store stock anywhere in the EU, that country you store stock in, you have to be VAT registered. But we said that's a problem. We can do 2 things. We can just say to retailers like you, or resellers like you, marketplaces like you have to go and register VAT for yourself. Or we can create what I hope will become a world-class product to help you register for VAT. So of course, because we're Amazon, we did the latter. So we created something we're calling Visa, VAT Services on Amazon, which allows you in 3 clicks to register in 7 countries in the EU. We'll also, I think we're extending the promotion, we'll also let you do it for free, totally for free, right now. So very worthwhile doing. If you want to sell in all 5 countries, you want to use all 7 of our countries with fulfillment centers, so we have Czech and Poland as well, you'll need to register for VAT, but it's super simple. If any of you are thinking, I can't do it, that's a problem, it really isn't. You should have a look at this. Okay, so straightforward approach to launch today. Well, there's 2 ways. One, you can go and use our self-service approach, register yourself, inbound yourself. Hundreds of thousands of sellers do this every year. Or you can come and speak to us at the back, excuse me, and we'll try and help you do this. The simple way of doing it is this. Register an Amazon Marketplace account. They'll be EU unified already. Set and maintain control of your pricing. So that's still over to you. You can do whatever you want with that. Add and control selection you want to offer on Amazon. We have a tool called Build International Listings. It's a wonderful tool. Once you've set up your listing in one country, we'll automatically translate it into 5 languages. And then we'll show you we've done that and say, hey, just click a button. We'll put the offers of your product in all the countries. And here's how you manage pricing across 5 countries. It's a wonderful tool. You can manage daily orders. You can utilize your own fulfillment if you wish to, but we recommend use Fulfillment by Amazon. In fact, Fulfillment by Amazon also has, if you're thinking, hey, I fulfill by many channels, maybe I use eBay as well. We've got eBay later on, I hear. We allow you to do that within Amazon Fulfillment Centers also. So there shouldn't be a blocker there. On Fulfillment by Amazon, you can ship some or all of your product lines to our area. You can put everything in Fulfillment by Amazon, or you can pick the fast-moving stock only. The reason I say that is because the cost of our FCs, there is a cost of storing stuff in our FCs. If you keep stuff in there for a long time, it may cost you more. So consider sending your fast-moving stuff to Fulfillment by Amazon. We'll handle all the storage, logistics, and customer service, as I've said, and we'll also give you that Prime customer badge, which gives you those really engaged, growing customer base. So we'll ship to the customer, and then you receive payment. It's that simple. Okay, there is some concerns around translations, around return cost, etc., but these are things that we know sellers like you, marketplaces like you, can definitely get over. So, our commitment today to you is we'll help you integrate with Amazon. We'll help you sell cross-border in the EU. We'll give you an account management function to support your launch and for you to grow. We'll give you some great business analytics and reporting. We'll do transactional customer. I'm not actually sure what transactional customer service means, but what we'll do is provide great customer service for you. We'll help, they become your customers, people who buy from Amazon. We'll help you support them. And we'll incur all the credit card processing fees, and we are 100% fraud protected. You should never become a victim of fraud if you sell on Amazon. All you have to do is pay a referral fee. You rent a little bit of our site to put your product there. Pay £25 a month to be a registered seller, and then Fulfillment by Amazon has those fees. Now, what I would say on the Fulfillment by Amazon fees is, and I know this, I've done some analysis on this, they're extremely competitive. We believe they're actually more competitive than you can get anywhere else. The reason we do that is, as I said earlier, we get savings from scale, savings from investing in robotics in our FCs, savings from picking the right ship method at exactly the right time, savings from moving the inventory closer to the customer from the start. We pass all those savings on to you, because what we're after is your growth. So every time you sell an item, we get a referral fee. If you sell to a Prime customer using FBA, we get more, you get more. It's really that simple, the model. So we're not going to do questions now.
We will have questions a bit later. So after we have next speakers, there will be the Q&A session in the end of this morning session. So we'll ask you to come back here in about 1 hour for more Q&A. And all the delegates, meanwhile, they can use slido.com and password 8897 to post questions to you and to all other speakers as well.
I just have one thing to quickly add, if I may. I should also have said, when you saw the slide that was just up there, the past, future, and the present of Amazon growth is sellers, is retailers like you. A little while ago, the marketplace, i.e. the seller business, overtook the reseller business, and the Fulfillment by Amazon business is about to overtake the retail business as well. You are the future of Amazon, and that's because we provided a great service to people like you. So I really encourage you to take the next step and have a go at selling with Amazon. Thank you.
Okay, and here's a little present. It's a chocolate for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So thank you, John.